Hello, everyone. Not sure. That video just got really dark. That's okay. Hey, it's your last stop here for e-learning on reading. Um, Today, what you're going to do for reading, and I've got the instructions typed out here in this module also, is you're going to read a piece of text. It's on the HMH website. It's called Extreme USA. And I chose this text because on Monday, we, at the end of the day, started to look at a social studies magazine all about the different regions of the United States. And I think this will go along with it. And you're going to read this. And then I've also assigned to you there, so you'll see two assignments on HMH that deal. One is the Extreme USA that you'll read, and the other one is the comprehension questions. And I think there's 5 questions that go along with it. And what I would do is I would open both of those at the same time. So you can read the questions, read the text, go back and forth to answer them. Okay? So that'll be your assignment. Hey, I hope that you're still reading, reading lots. I'm sitting down here in my man cave, which is really more of a rat's nest. It's pretty messy in my man cave, reading my book here. But I just came back from a run to Napanee. I saw my good friend Connor Cochran at the grocery store, and I stopped off to pick up Out of My Mind. So what I'd like to do is we had to leave at kind of an awkward place on Tuesday, mid-chapter, so I'd like to finish the chapter. So it'll take a little while here. So if you want to pause the video and get yourself in a nice, cozy place, ready to listen, that'll be great. We need you to listen so you're, caught up with us when we come back on Monday. But where we were leaving off was Melody. Things are going better for Melody as far as school goes, right? She's in a lot more kind of inclusion classes. So she's with the other kids, and she has one girl in particular who's been very kind to her, and she's really happy. But the thing that's bothering her is, she's in these classes now, and she knows these answers just like everyone else, but she can't answer them. It's very frustrating. And that's where the chapter's going to pick up. So I'm on page 106. And we have about 6 pages for the rest of this chapter. So I'm going to read. Enjoy. Vocabulary bingo, Miss Gordon announced one morning. Donuts to the winning team. As they played, my classmates broke their necks to get the right definition, screamed out answers, and groaned when they messed up. In just half an hour, every student in the room knew all 20 vocabulary words. Miss Gordon gave donuts to the losing team too, but the winners got the ones with the chocolate sprinkles. I knew all the definitions, but the other kids moved too fast for me. Chocolate would have made a mess of my clothes anyway. One unusually warm day this week, Miss Gordon brought in fans and spray bottles of water and let us eat popsicles in class, orange ones, of course, in honor of Halloween, while she read poems about pumpkins and ghosts. Catherine held my popsicle for me with a paper towel under my chin, and we didn't spill one drop. Remember, Catherine is her aide that just works with her all day. Miss Gordon does other cool things too. Like when she decided the class would read the story of Anne Frank, she had kids take turns squeezing into a small space she had built under a table so they could understand how Anne might have felt. I couldn't do that, but I got the idea. We'll read about Anne Frank later in the year. And she assigned other great books this semester. I'm listening to Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor and The Giver by Lois Lowry. And there's one called Tuck Everlasting. The kid never gets to grow up. Staying a child forever is not as cool as folks may think. Those are 3 awesome books, by the way. Because of Mrs. V, I could actually read the books, but the print is usually very small, and it's hard for my eyes to stay on the right line. And nobody has figured out the best way for me to hold on to a book without it falling on the floor a million times. So I usually choose the audiobook instead of the written version. I even take tests now. Catherine reads me the questions, and I point to the answers on the sheets she places on my tray. I pass every single test, and she doesn't help me one single bit. I would probably get 100% on each one, but some of the questions require long answers, and I just can't explain the words on my board. One time in spelling, Miss Gordon read the words aloud, and I pointed to the letters on my board. Catherine wrote down what I pointed to so I could follow along with the test. Claire and Molly, who are always watching me, it feels like, began to complain. It's not fair, Claire cried, waving her hand to get Miss Gordon's attention. Catherine cheats for her, Molly added. What is it with those two? It's like they're jealous of me or something, and that's just plain crazy. At the same time, I realized that they actually thought I had it easier. That sure was a first. Last Monday morning, Miss Gordon told the class, as some of you may know, because I do this every year, our long-range 5th grade project this year is our biography unit. We will read the biographies of famous people, do a report on a famous person of your choosing, and each of you will also write your own autobiography. Well, it's got to be short. What can you do in 11 years? Connor, the big kid, shouted out. Everybody laughed. In your case, Connor, Miss Gordon replied, I'm sure you'll think of way too much. Can I do my report on the guy who invented hamburgers? Connor asked, to more laughter. I doubt if we know who made the first burger, but you can do your report on the person who founded McDonald's. He got rich off hamburgers and fries. Awesome. My kind of dude, Connor said. Rose raised her hand. I love the fact that she's in all my inclusion classes. Miss Gordon, when is all this due? Rose is the type of student who takes all kinds of notes in a bright red spiral planner and never misses a homework assignment. Relax, Rose, we've got until the end of May, and I'll walk you through each segment one step at a time. Tomorrow we'll talk about how to write your memories. Rose seemed satisfied, but I noticed she scribbled almost a whole page in her notebook. I'd give anything to do that. But working on stuff the teachers in the regular classes assign is just plain awesome. History class is even better than language arts class, even though the teacher, a man named Mr. Dimming, has none of Miss Gordon's spark. Balding and pudgy, he's been teaching at the school for over 20 years. And kids say he's never been absent, not even once. Clearly he loves what he does. His car is always in the parking lot when our bus rolls in, and always there when we leave for the day. He dresses like a TV preacher, in three-piece suits with vests most days. I've never seen him without a crisp white shirt and a colorful tie. I wonder if his wife picks them out. Some of them are really sharp. Mr. D loves history. He can quote facts and dates and wars and generals like somebody on a game show. I bet he could win at Jeopardy. Ginger ale. The other students don't seem to like Mr. Dimming much. They call him Dimwit Dimming behind his back. I wonder what people call me behind my back. I think that's sort of mean because Mr. D is really smart enough to run the quiz team. When Mr. Dimming got to American presidents in class, I rocked. He gave the students a list of presidents and all their vice presidents and told us there would be a test in a week. Catherine read the names to me several times. I've never heard of some of these men, she admitted to me as we went over the list the first time. Hannibal Hamlin was Abraham Lincoln's first vice president? Who knew? I memorized them all. When Mr. Dimming gave the test, all I had to do was point to the right answers. I checked to make sure that Catherine wasn't helping me. I even finished before some of the others. While Mr. D was returning the test papers, he gave the class a few minutes of free time to sharpen pencils or stretch or talk. I was surprised to see Rose walking toward my desk. How'd you do on the test, Melody? She asked. I only got 75. She looked disappointed. I'd gotten 85, but I was so excited that she'd come over to me that I got mixed up, so I pointed to 5 and then 8 on the board. She touched my arm, her eyes full of sympathy. "Don't worry," she said. "You'll do better next time." And she did this right in front of Molly and Claire and the rest of the class. There was no way I was going to tell her what I really got on the test. I tried to think of something to say so she'd stay longer. Pretty and shirt was all I could come up with using my hand. I sure could use a word choice that said cool outfit, but somehow Mrs. V had overlooked that one. But Rose beamed. "You look nice today, too." I didn't really. I had on a faded blue sweatshirt and matching sweatpants. Mom hardly got me anything else these days, but I hate sweatsuits. If I could choose, I'd wear blue jeans with sparkly decals, a blouse with decorated buttons, and a vest. But I had no way to tell Rose that, so I just pointed to "thank you." Incredibly, she touched my arm one more time, then she went back to her seat and her friends. Then the bell rang, class was over, and I had to go back to H5. No more inclusion, no more Rose. And 4 more hours of school left. Even Catherine left. She had afternoon classes at the university and hurried to get there on time. Mrs. Shannon was out sick that day, so I sat quietly with Ashley and Maria and Carl and Willie while we watched The Lion King. Again. I have seen it a million times. I can quote it. Then the substitute teacher gave us a math lesson. Addition. Again. When am I ever going to get to long division? I wondered what Rose was doing. It was a very long afternoon. And that's the end of the chapter. All right. Hope you're enjoying the book. Okay, so you've got an assignment on HMH. It should pop right up when you log on. Okay, you're going to be reading a text called Extreme USA and then answering those quiz questions that are also assigned. There's 2 separate assignments there. If you need help, let me know. Reading logs are due Monday, just like always, so no excuses this week on not having it done. Have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll be able to get back together on Monday. See you guys.